so not 100% sure about the validity of our connection. But the event manager here has been wonderful, a man called Jay. So I just want to say a big shout out to him.
He is lovely, isn't he?
He is lovely. So if you've just joined us...
I feel like a Roman emperor. Like I can click my fingers and he'll bring me coffee. It's super sweet.
So if you've just joined us or just watching this game again from the start, from this part of the VOD, then you've got Donal versus Matt. Matt got the choice to go first against Donal, against a Seraphon with Gotrek army versus a Nurgle army with 30 Plague Bearers, 2 lots of 10 Putrid Blight Kings, Rotigus and the Glotkin. And he decided to go first on shifting objectives.
And the central one is the one that's worth 3, because that's gold.
So this objective is worth 3 points right there. So he's decided he's going to absolutely just say, come to me, which I can't say I love as a strat.
Yeah, he took a risk. It paid off for him, though.
But one of the things that the Seraphon army, and Darren Newmy have talked about this a lot, one of the things the Seraphon army has lacked for a long time is the punch.
Yeah, and the resilience as well. They can pump out damage, but you need a lot to be going in your favour. They do have command abilities. They do have ways and means of doing it, but the stars have to align really to get a lot of damage out of them. What they really lack is resilience. They die in droves. But you do have the summoning mechanic, but it's not quite as good as other summoning mechanics now.
Nowhere near.
Namely Nesh.
Yeah. So the thing is what's good about this army is it's got a lot of output that you don't really see. So it's got those 3 units of salamanders. Now, they can be a bit dicey, but it's D6 damage each per one if they got the opportunity.
And a 4 plus they do a further D3,
and
you can set people on fire.
D3 mortal wounds. Gotrek is right here, and I'm pretty certain Matt has just set up this line to just be like, let's fight.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. They've got double attacks now because Glotkin's command ability went off. They've got Blades of Putrefaction off on them. So I wonder if Donal's going to, get some nuts and go straight in there. I mean, I certainly would.
I don't know though, because he obviously can get in this fight and do a good amount of damage, but similarly, there's spells coming out of here, so that's more damage.
So what I was mentioning earlier, one of the run rolls has been a 1 on the right-hand side, so he's not capturing that objective. So he's going to be, at a maximum of 5, he's going to manage to get 4. And that's because he used Glotkin's command ability a little too early, I think. But then he is dissuading Gotrek from going in there, I guess. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see what Donal, how he reacts to that.
Yeah,
Donal is a very good player, though. I don't know if anyone's had the pleasure of playing him. He's super fair, he's super precise with his movement, and he's a very, very clever chap, despite the fact that he uses gits.
Yeah.
Yeah! Football!
So
come on, Donal!
So Donal, so the first thing that happens in the Seraphon turn is the Engine of the Gods, of which there are 2. They roll 4 dice if they're within 10 inches of the slan.
Yeah.
Whatever the result, and in this case a 17, which is one off being absolutely crazy.
Come on, Donal!
He gets to summon a unit
bias
for
here.
free. So he summoned a unit of Ripperdactyls, which is very exciting. So they're on the board.
It's really important to get that first turn as well, because you get the Blot Toad, which makes your Rippers and your future Rippers so much better. Yeah. So he'll now get to place the Blot Toad, which counts as a token anywhere on the board. Any enemy unit that's within 2 inches of that, the Rippers then get +2 attacks to their beak attacks, and those beak attacks do a lot of damage.
And I think really Gotrek has only got a couple of threats on the board here. He's got 3 threats. This, and this. Both the Glotkin and Rotigus, they just don't have enough attacks, whereas the Blight Kings have enough attacks, and the Plague Bearers currently have enough attacks to chip him down. He's only taken 1 wound. Yeah, not quite the mighty hero.
That's the only one I want to see.
He's located right there, Gotrek, so he's ready to do the fighting, and he's...
The Blot Toad is just behind the Plague Bearers, correct.
So just here, so the
he can move D6 inches every hero phase as well. So but I imagine that Blot Toad is just going to go sit on that central objective it's going to be if that's where Gotrek is going, it's going to be theirs, I think.
Yeah, so Gotrek there, he can potentially go in there. The Rippers have definitely declared their intent. Their intent is to go straight forward into that unit of Plague Bearers and start whittling them down. And that is just a free unit.
I don't think I'd be going into those guys. I'd be threatening Glotkin and Rotagus with those guys, because the Matt's left his backfield quite open. He's quite susceptible to Seraphon teleporting here. He's got nothing in this backfield is screened off. These characters are very vulnerable.
That's a good point. Would you not want to Age Sigmar being obviously about scoring points, of which Matt's already got 4. It's all about bodies on the board, and while Nurgle are going to be able to summon later, they don't really have the Donal can keep kicking out skinks as long as obviously some of them die.
Yeah. He's got the advantage late game, certainly. I'd agree.
He has got, so it's all about, for me, I'd be wanting to whittle down these body units as quickly as possible so I can go and grab the objectives, or just so the late game is definitely mine.
I think for me, I want to get to my opponent's guts before he can get to me. If I see an opportunity to take out a character early on, that means for the rest of the game, units around them aren't supported, they're pumping out less damage, their survivability is affected. Just being able to use command points, that option's no longer there. This Harbinger of Decay, for example, these guys here, if they were here, they'd be threatening this guy. And then that 5-up save means all these chaps here are so much more susceptible to Gotreks the rest of it.
So taking out the command ability on the unit at the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cogs has just got off as well. Oh, we're going to see a Gotreks charge. Come on.
So with Chronomantic Cogs having gone off, that gives +2 to Gotrek, who is only a lowly movement forward to Arden, which is why they all suck.
We'll see just how much they suck in a moment.
So there's a 9-inch charge needed. He's 15 inches away from those Plague Bearers.
Get +2 to charge, so it'll only be a 7-inch charge.
Yeah.
So it's basically 100% charge because it's Gotrek. He's already got a 1 out of the way.
So 7-inch charge. Don't think he's taken that 1 wound. It might have been a flesh wound on his leg.
Yeah.
He might be tired now and he doesn't want to run there.
He's hung over, probably.
Yeah.
He probably has some desperados.
Look at these two beefy boys. They've just got
the beefy boys.
Look at those. The beefy boys. A new mix album coming soon. They got no worries, have they? They're like, all our lads are in front of us. This is safe. This is one of those good
they've
and
got
bad
no
things
worries
about
because
movement trays, though, because while Matt moved this unit very nicely in a straight line forward, like he's left the opportunity.
This is why I don't use them.
This is why I don't use them. Do you want to tell me about that?
I don't use movement trays because I think it encourages bad play. If you're swift enough, then you can. Also, in a lot of cases, it makes things take longer when you do try and take them off the movement trays to get more favourable lines of scrimmage, etc. And that's perfectly demonstrated here. I think Matt's left himself a little open. Certainly his characters are back. Donal's not taken advantage of it though. He's put his Rippers down. He's only got so far he can place them. In fact, no, he's got 2 teleports yet. So in actual fact, he might do what I'm suggesting.
He's doing what you said, but he's committing in a different way. So he's putting the Razordons down, so you can see the units of Razordons have moved from where they were. They've teleported. So what I've drawn on the screen for you there is a time-space continuum portal.
So that's good. So he's identified a weak spot. He's identified a key unit, and Matt has left that guy exposed, and he's going to take. This is exactly what I would do.
The issue is this Nurgle force, especially when you see the big bully boys, they don't have a lot of board presence. I mean, the Plague Bearers do, but you want them fighting, or you're using the Plague Bearers to screen, and then you've only then got these 2 blocks to do the work. The Nurgle army is really an interesting build in the way that it works sometimes. It's a lot. This buffs. So Rotagus buffs and does a little bit of damage, as does the Glotkin. But do they do their own work, like a Keeper of Secrets? No, they don't.
No. Does anything work like a Keeper of Secrets?
But they aren't quite their support. They're large support heroes who are susceptible, especially the Glotkin. He doesn't even have a disgusting resilience save.
The trouble's compounded here because these guys, their footprint is really limited by the fact they're all sitting next to each other. You don't have to do that. These guys could be stretched right across here. So controlling all this part of the board. Whereas Matt's opted to keep these guys together, which again I don't think you need to do. Blight Kings, they can engage, certainly when you're fighting Seraphon that have got so little resistance, they can engage multiple units and they will take them out because they've got so many attacks. They get exploding attacks on 6s. You don't need to squish them up like that. So I think he could have been a little wiser with the footprint.
A little bit wider.
Wider, yeah.
Wiser and wider.
Wider and wiser.
So we are actually into they're actually going to move now, these units, that instead of just teleporting around the board and being summoned from the Aether. The narrative for the Seraphon hopefully gets an update at some point where they're able to, but they are thought demons summoned into existence. So the Slann is the boss. He's there. He's literally imagining these heroes to the fore, and he imagines so hard that he actually already summoned some extra Ripperdactyls. I don't know.
Do you think if a Slann gets drunk, like what he imagines differs? Do you think they ever
differently? Yeah. What, do you think you get some real interesting dreams?
I think so. Yeah, I had some mad dreams. Imagine the things I would imagine if I was a Slann.
Actually, don't. I think it's the Slann teleported somewhere.
I would just imagine loads of Gotrexes, to be fair.
Appreciate that. Thank you. So the Slann has actually teleported away. Just missed that for the moment on the tabletop. And he is not but that drink. There's a lot of paper on the board.
Ballsy. So he's going to be summoning from that point? Oh, no, there he is at the top right.
Right. Okay, there he is.
Right.
He's hidden in these bushes here.
Yeah, that makes sense because I imagine that stone means that Rotogus can't see the Slann, which is the only real threat to the Slann, the D3 mortal wounds that Rotogus' spell is going to be able to do. So it makes a bit of sense to get him out of line of sight.
Get him out of dodge.
Yeah, definitely.
There he is, hiding away.
How big is that?
Hiding away.
Oh no!
Right next to his cogs.
He's not hidden.
With some defensive skinks.
To be fair, he should be floating
and the Star
as well.
Priest is also hiding out as well.
I'm surprised that guy's not been targeted by Rotti. Perhaps this building was in the way.
Look at that. It's a healthy building there, blocking that line of sight. So there's
Owen was very pleased about the sort of the jungle table that he'd created for the Seraphon to be playing on. It does look pretty cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It looks very cool. It's a very... There we go, Skinks creating those screens. So keeping these salamanders safe, I think, is going to be fairly important.
Yeah.
And also, I really like this. As a Seraphon player myself, I do this quite often. I go, look, the threat's over here, the opposite side of the objective. So this unit here...
Draw them off. They've got a difficult choice,
They've got to choose. Am I going to go and deal with the threat at the back? Now, of course, you could take the Glockin over and deal with that and then put bodies on the objectives. That's probably a better call.
Yeah, but then you're taking a 420-point character out of the equation for a couple of turns because he's not particularly swift.
No. So we're going to be... with the movement phase being close to over, we're going to be in the shooting phase. I imagine we're going to see the Razordons pump into the Harbinger of Decay. Darren, do you think it's going to kill him?
No, but it will certainly... What's it? 2d6 times 3, 721 shots? Is it 3s and 4s? It's not even -1 rend yet, so I doubt he'll go down, because it'd be -1 to hit as well, because those Blight Kings are so close to him. But you need to... Once he is down, the Blight Kings go down so much quicker.
Yeah, the objective in the centre is the primary objective currently, so that's the one that's worth...
Are there more skinks around that now? One thing about this angle is it's really skewed. Confirmation from Ben. There's more skinks than plague bearers around that central objective. So Donald's going to get 5 points. No.
Without even having to engage.
No, is he going to get? He should be able to take out that Gore Beast chariot. Another target, perhaps, for those Rippers. I think if those Rippers go into the plague bearers, they're going to die.
But I also think
badly.
it's a mistake, because what Matt could do if he wanted to was he could elect to take units off. Depends where he charges. If he charges here, then that gives him the opportunity to pile in more bodies into the objective and then secure the objective, which can sometimes happen.
I think the Rippers, because they can go down anywhere within. It's like 26 inches for the. No, it's not 26 inches. Is it? I'll just check.
Okay, so I'd be interested in what
12.
everyone else in the chat is thinking.
Oh, I've not even looked at the chat. Let's have a
chat.
little
Who are you rooting for? Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Gotrek is about to kill 1,000,000,000 billion Nurgles. You're not wrong. Come on. Yes, I would like to do the. Oh, is that too much of a?
No, we can do that. We can do that.
So Ben has requested, would we like to see Gotrek's charge in the dice tray?
Yeah.
And the answer is, of course we would.
So he's here. He needs a 7-inch charge to charge into those plague bearers. So it definitely looks like, well, that's what he's. I would say that's what he's aiming for. Darren, would you say that that's
yeah,
true?
100%. And Donald's not used the command point yet, has he? So he's. I think Donald's game plan is very much Gotrek centric, which is, he is 25% of his army. So you've got to commit to it if you're going to use him. There's no point having him at the back.
Sometimes I like to move on to other elements of, but this is really the story. The story of the show is this, right? This young man here, yeah,
he's like thousands of years old.
Just resurrected. So there he is. He's facing the wrong way, sadly, and I don't think that skink though devastating.
We are doing a Gotrek's award, aren't we?
Yeah,
we're celebrating the Gotrek's. So within the next 12 months, the highest placing Gotrek's in an event that's 60-man plus globally is going to get a little award from me. You're going to be the Meta Slayer.
The Meta Slayer.
The Meta Slayer. So this is Donald's opening gambit. So he's setting the bar today, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, summoning points generated by the Slan, who is up here and it has also cast Chronomantic Cogs. So
the Star Priest would have cast Cogs because the Slan needs to get rid of all his spells to summon 10. Oh no, that's not true. It's only 6, isn't it? But was it the Star Priest that? Yeah, it was. It was the Star Priest that did the Cogs, so that the Slan is allowed to get rid of all his spells, sack them off, because you get 3 summoning points for every spell that you sack, plus 1 for being a Slan. So Donal should have 4 left, which means he can bring on another 3 Rippers next turn.
3 Ripper Dactyls.
And that's all he should be doing.
So there's some skinks going at the back of the board, and it looks like they're going to try and lock up the Glotkin potentially at the back of the board. Or they're measuring 9.
Rotti's actually pretty good in combat, so that I doubt. Not so sure. I'd be trying to get onto that Gore-Beast chariot and take that objective off him, I think, because that thing's vulnerable. That left flank.
So he's already in control of this objective with the
skinks.
Oh,
apologies. There's a glare on my screen. I couldn't see.
So he's outscored him. So it's already all 3 objectives are going to belong to Seraphon. Going into the priority role for this
belong to Gotrek.
Gotrek's done nothing yet, Darren. He stood right there doing nothing. He's got nothing on them right now. Rintra in the chat, fail the charge, stupid stunty. That's what he says. Yeah, so
you knew having words, son.
Yeah. So he's excited about not happening. I think even if he does fail the charge, I think Donal screened really well here, so those Blight Kings aren't going to be able to necessarily punch through. However, he could send this in. You could kill everything apart from Gotrek. Might be the smart play. This unit of Plague Bearers, if they get the turn, could go in here and have a field day and try to consolidate.
Only if they get all their buffs off. They're at least going to have the Glotty command ability, but if they don't get blades off, they're not particularly good. 4s and 3s.
Yeah, you're right.
But they will tie things up.
I can.
Oh. It's my heart.
So that is.
Come on, Rex.
That is going to be. There he is. So he's got. The Gotrek is in, ready to kick.
And he's moved him as far towards Glotki as possible. Correct. Well done, Donal. That's what we want to see. He's playing with his heart.
He's not actually facing the Plague Bearers.
He doesn't need to.
In a show of,
he's booty bouncing into them.
In a show of marked disrespect, he's almost walking past the Plague Bearers.
He's
looking straight
at Glotkin.
Straight at Glotkin. Let's zoom out a little bit. You'll see. He's just eyeballing Glotkin. He's like, I don't even care.
That is so cool.
I don't even care for these little.
If that's accident or design, I don't care. That is beautiful. That's a story right there.
Oh yeah.
And Glotkin, look at his face. He does not look pleased about this. He knows his end is nigh.
He does know his end is nigh. I agree. Anyway.
See, all that wound did was just annoy. I nearly swore then. Just annoy Gottrex. He's forgot to shoot.
Okay, so do you want to explain to people about that?
So Donal got so excited about his Gottrex charge that he completely forgot to shoot his Razordon. And Matt, being the gentleman that he is, has allowed Donal to do his shooting.
He's nothing but an angel.
And I've got no
Never seen Matt on
qualms
stream
with this.
before, but I really like him.
This would have had no this sort of thing is what you want to see in games between friends.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't give Donal an inch. The Grot Terrorist deserves no love, and also, and you've also all seen it. You've also seen it here live. He has, he lambasted everyone every time they stop playing Grots. But here he is on the TV.
Using Gottrex.
Not even there's not a grot looking fella on the screen anywhere.
He's got 19 shots off with his Razordons.
Yeah, the Razordons are shooting here into the Harbinger Decay. They've got 19 shots left.
Look at these swift dice rolls from Donal as well. Good to see.
Yeah, well, as a grot player, he always rolls a lot of dice. And I wonder if he's going to die, but a man who's not going to die, but is full of life. Yeah, a hero, Owen, is going to let us know what's happening around at the rest of it. It's a 100-player tournament. Someone's going to win it. It might be the two people that we're seeing, and it might be someone he's about to talk about now.
Well, I think it might be somebody who's running one of the many Keeper of Secrets which are out there. There's well over 25 keepers out there in the room. I've had a good look around. We're kind of, end of turn 1, start of turn 2 for a lot of the players. Still feeling each other out. There are some players making some big moves, though, and we talked about him before. James Tinsdale playing Pano. Looked over at their table. I thought they were still deploying because Scarbrand's dead, half his army's dead. There's eels everywhere. It doesn't look good for Pano, I must say. James has done the big alpha. There's eels up inside him, and yeah, it's not looking good. So I can't see that. That's on table 13. I think James has got that in the bag early, and they'll probably be at the bar soon. Outside of that, Toby, my dark horse pick, he got the first turn against JP Stevens with his Slanesh. Now he's looking in a good place. He's gone up. He's got 5 points. Vortex came and went. There's a keeper down. There's a pendulum up. He's done his whole Skaven ratty 4D chess kind of thing. So yeah, Toby's looking good in that. I mean, obviously JP can bring a lot of it back, as is Slanesh's way. But, Toby's planted his flag, and he's looking good. Elsewhere in the tables, Tony Moore bringing 9 Storm Fiends. He's got a tough first round list against Carl Breakspear's Fire Slayers over my shoulder here on table 36. Again, they're still in the early days. Obviously, Carl's list does have the resiliency to stand up to some of that Storm Fiend shooting, but at the same time, Tony's a top player, so Carl's up against it there. Talking of Fire Slayers, there are a lot of little ginger fellas in the room, and I don't mean the players. There are a lot of dwarves, which is great to see. I think dwarves and Slanesh, on first glance around the tables, that really does seem to be quite a theme out there. So, talking of which, there's 3 Gotreks. I don't think Gotreks managed to kill anything yet. There's quite a lot of posturing out there. Gotrek standing out in the field on his own, just waiting for his axe to connect with all manner of foe. I'm not sure what's going on in Donal's game. You probably all have a better idea of that than me. I don't know if Gotreks managed to kill anything. But yeah, there's a few out there. Steve Curtis against Dan with all the Dons. That's, again, still in the posturing phase. I think there's still a lot still to come on the table. Talking of another Dan Ford against Alex Bruce, my Team Wells bro. Alex is grimacing already. There's all manner of monks on the board. They've advanced up, and I just don't think he's got enough shooting to take him off. We'll see. But, yeah, I've told Alex to stay positive. But he wasn't looking particularly happy with that round 1. Laurie against Ricky again. We've got some Fire Slayers versus the Dreadwood Sylvaneth. I think that obviously is in its early stages, and when that starts to unpack a little bit, then perhaps the Dreadwood teleports can come into game. I mean, Laurie's got his 9 Scythe Hunters again, which could put a dent into those little ginger fellas. Now, Byron's pick, Luke Morton, Mr. 500 as he calls him, with his Idoneth Deepkin. He's playing Christian Moore's Slanesh, Godseeker Slanesh. Again, we're still in the, the dueling phase at the moment, but that's an interesting one. And yeah, I think that kind of like, sums up where we are on the board. There's lots of smiles. Everyone's having a good time. I think the main takeaways at present, my kind of rough little meta look is keepers and dwarves bloody everywhere. Back to the babes in the booth.
What a gorgeous man. And I love talking to him. So thank you. Dwarves and Slanesh everywhere. Who'd have
thought?
Who'd have counted this? Right, let me tell you what happened in that phase, because we did miss something. Apologies to everyone at home. We saw the Razordon shoot into the Harbinger Decay. Only took 1 wound. But I didn't do my recap. If you've just joined us, my name's Rob.
My name's Darren.
And we are here at the FHGT 2019. We're in round 1, the bottom of turn 1. For this game of Seraphon with a Gotrek ally versus a Maggotkin and Nurgle. Nurgle went first. They just moved forward onto these objectives here. Big block of 30 Plague Bearers, 2 lots of 10 Blight Kings. And then the Seraphon decided to teleport some Razordons here. They summoned a unit of Ripidactyls, as they like to do. They postured with some Skinks here and here, and they moved around, capturing objectives without ever having needed to fight.
But all of that's academic, Rob.
It is academic.
Gotrek
What happened?
Is in combat. He's in melee. I can't see. Do we know how many he's slain in his first swing?
We do. So Gotrek swung. So he charged. He did a 10-inch charge. Charged in here, and in his first combat phase, he slew 10 Plague Bearers. But he didn't roll very well at all. He only actually
doesn't need to roll well.
He only did 3 hits.
Yeah.
So don't know.
But from 3 hits, he took out 10 Plague Bearers that have got a 5-up special save. So he took out 10 Plague Bearers that have got a 5-up special save.
Yeah, they are.
See, that's huge. That unit is supposed to... Oh, I have a banana. Yeah. Oh, sorry, chat. Byron's offering me a banana. So that's good. So that's huge, because Plague Bearers are difficult to shift, and they're realistically, to coin a phrase, they are what the Nurgle have got to get that objective, keep those objectives there, because he doesn't have the numbers on the left, and
so the Plague. Oh yeah, so the Plague Bearers have attacked back in combat now, because this is the only combat that we have going on. They did.
Guess how many wounds he did?
0.
0.
But he's already taken a wound from foul rain from Rotigus earlier in the.
All that did is annoy him.
But he struck back again, and then he only killed 2.
But importantly, there are still Plague Bearers within.
5. No,
still
5.
Plague Bearers within 3 inches of him.
Yeah, but there was a block of 30 there.
He's going to swing again.
And in 1 round of combat, that's all he swung twice. He killed 10 the first go, 5 the second go.
Oh, that's half a unit in one go. What do you know that can kill 15 Plague Bearers in one go?
9 Storm Fiends.
Okay, yeah, we could play this game. It's not as impressive as I'm making out.
No, he's still good.
What Dwarden do you know that can kill 15 Plague Bearers in one go? And it's not the Warden King. Chris Myhill's Warden King might be able to do it. But I don't know any other Dwarden that would be capable of such a feat.
So it's 10 Plague Bearers first round, 5 in the second round of combat. So then we should be having a priority roll coming soon, realistically, which is exciting. And obviously, in this situation, don't forget, red is Donal, so red is Seraphon, blue is Matt, Maggot and Nurgle. Let us know in the chat who you're rooting for. We are ready.
We are ready.
Very excited. I wonder, are you rooting for anyone? Red.
I'm obviously rooting for Gotrek.
And it's gone to...
Oh, the glare! The tension builds.
Donal has got it.
Not that. Oh, I feel terribly biased, but I am. I'm super.
You are terribly biased. This is not impartial reporting.
It's not.
This is you cheering on the decimation of Matt's army.
No, not at all. I love Matt. He's clearly a gent. He's got a beautiful army. But
we'll get
I just
a score
love,
update
just
from
love
the table on the overlay. Benjamin. We will at some point.
Come on, Donal.
So Darren, what do you think he's going to do in his first turn?
What do I think he's going to do? So he's already got cogs up, so he doesn't necessarily need to do that again. I think he's going to capitalise on the gains that he's made there. Gotrek is going to continue to... He's going to take it, right? Because he's going to continue to swing into that unit. He's probably going to... If he gets a couple of mortal wounds off from the engines, he'll be able to take out that Gore Beast chariot, or he might be able to get some more summons. But I think he's going to move more to threaten the Harbinger on this bottom rank, this bottom here. This is certainly what I'd be trying to concentrate on, because once that chap goes, then those Blight Kings are so much easier to deal with. Those Plague Bearers are not going to last much longer, and then
they're going to be fine. That's what, exactly like the chat is saying there. Get to the chopper. Come on, Chaos.
Get to the chopper.
Beat that little bearded man. Beat him up. Just swamp him. It's like British Bulldog. That's
but the swamp's getting smaller and smaller.
Huh?
His swamp's getting that Mohawk is basically a sponge. Like it's destroying that Quagmire.
I think. I mean, this is obviously. This is a huge advantage for Donal here, and it looks like he could potentially get the victory or be in a huge ascendancy at this point with this.
Going back to what I said earlier, I don't think the Nurgle should have taken the first turn to prevent this exact happenstance.
Yeah. Well, it's actually we've seen this a couple of times on live stream games before. If you guys want to go back, especially NashCon, but it's such a big strategy deployment, but also. Deployment knowing what you're going to do, and in this situation what both of the two players have to do is they have to move on to these center objectives.
I told you.
Yeah,
I've been channeling it.
Oh wait, so
sorry, yeah, you can't hear, Ben, can you? The objective's in the middle again.
So there are 3 objectives, but one of them gets you more points, with specifically 3 points. So the one in the centre has now got you...
it's got Trex's, I told you.
Yeah, it's got 3 whole points. He's actually here, Darren. He's nowhere near it. It's actually the Skinks objective. Yeah, that's what they are. Are you just hoping to watch him just go through this whole army on his
That's
own?
exactly what I want in my first game viewing it. That's exactly what I want. That's what the stories are, right? I can't wait. There's going to be a Gotrek fight, isn't there?
There is. It's not really going to be a fight, though. It's going to be a one-man
I can see more Rippers in Donal's hands.
Yay!
Blue team!
So the Engine of the Gods has rolled a 15, which means another unit of 3 Ripperdactyls has gone on the board. Meaning they're 160 points each at the minute. Meaning the Seraphon army has currently put 320 points on the board.
Yeah, correct.
And the unit Skinks.
140, aren't they?
140. So
208. It's still good resource management. If you
so
can do that
over
every
300
turn,
points.
Yeah, they're going to be straight into that Gore Beast chariot. It's not going to be there for much longer. He's probably going to take out that centre actually. And then how do you come back from that? How do you take out Gotreks and 6 Rippers when you've lost all your Plague Bearers? Those Blight Kings are super slow as well. What's the dial at, Ben? It was on +1 wound.
So +1 to wound, so it'll stay on that.
It ticks over to number 3. No, every turn it ticks over. What's it gone to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not one of the good ones, is it? So again, he's really going to be able to capitalise on this turn and secure that middle objective and the left.
I think with those Plague Bearers dead to the world, they're in a tough especially this battle with Gotrek. They can't move out of it. I mean that 10-inch charge. I know it was a 7. To actually get into that combat, but that's only average. Like
slightly above because there's more 7s plus than there are 6 low.
Yes.
I mean, you've got a reroll as well because he kept his command. So
point. It was quite likely, but just the straight out 10-inch charge.
65, 70%, something like that. Yeah. It's definitely the play to go for. What else has Gotrek in it?
I'm not saying it was a bad decision in no way. What I'm saying is
the 10 really helped.
It really helped. Yeah, it put it into a really solid spot, and obviously that priority roll is always going to help, but. I think just compositionally, the game from the foot, you got this unit of 300 models, 300 points of models here, 300 points of models here, 600 points not engaging in the game, another 400 points here not engaging. So
and they're compact as well.
They are. So there's only 300 points actually engaged in this fight against a 500-point monster. So the disposition of power isn't working. These Blight Kings are going to be able to swing round.
He's just lost some as well.
The Plague Bearers.
The Plague Bearers. Was that an engine D6 mortal wounds? Yeah. From the engine. So the engine's just taken off. How many Plague Bearers, Ben? 4. So another 4. So these engines, they do work with their D6 mortal wounds. It's got a 26-inch range. It doesn't need line of sight. So they're super handy for sniping characters. but there are no characters for Donald to snipe, so he's making the correct decision. I thought he was going to go for this chap. But obviously, those Rippers are probably going to be able to take out
plus,
that, to be fair.
while those Rippers now, having been summoned, can't move, this unit...
That's the unit I thought they were going to move over, yeah.
This unit now is going to be able to come over and charge. And even if they don't kill it, they probably are going to outnumber it and score, but the Skinks already outscore it anyway.
So yeah, it makes sense from Donald to actually put the mortal wounds into the Plague Bearers. So that's 19 that are dead now. So I can't see 11... Can't see 11 surviving double swing from Gotrek.
No, they cannot. I cannot. But he might, of all things, because he is this sort of human and troll, he might just be trying to clear the whole lot up. It's not inconceivable that the Salamanders actually can clear up the Plague Bearers.
Didn't even see the Salamanders, yeah.
Giving him the charge.
Yeah,
straight
the double
into the
charge. No, the double charge. This is what we all want to see. This is the money. This is the money.
Right betwixt them.
Well, that's the thing with Gotrek. You want to go into 2 units at once, right? You want to make sure that after you've swung once, there's still someone within 3 inches so you can swing again.
Or something that you can't necessarily nuke in a turn.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. We're seeing more Plague Bearers moved off now from...
Oh!
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt had made a mistake. He thought they had Fleshy Abundance on his Plague Bearers, but if we can rewind back to the first turn, he actually failed to get that off. So those 15 Plague Bearers that Rex just wrecked has now turned into how many, Ben?
Well, it should have been 30.
Should have been 30.
That's the science of it. But
so that means what we've just...
Oh, he only took... Okay.
Oh,
it's okay. Well, we don't have to count the math. But the
basically what we just discussed is more likely to happen now.
It is more likely to happen. So we're going to see more Plague Bearers removed as they work that out. So what happened was Matt was under the assumption that he'd actually cast a spell which gives them an extra wound each.
Yeah.
But
really good spell.
Really, really good spell.
Difficult to cast though.
But also just situationally difficult. It's a bit like why Battle Shock is so much more impactful now, because it used to be I'd pick a unit, I'd make it immune to Battle Shock, so then what you do is you just attack the other unit.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, cool. And Fleshy Abundance is pretty much the same.
You can avoid it, especially such a slow army as well. Well, I say slow army. Nurgle's actually very swift, isn't it?
Ridiculously fast.
I'll take that comment back.
Faster than they ever deserve to be. So this unit a lot less survivable than we thought, and it might still be possible. It's definitely possible now for the Salamanders, as we've talked about, to actually whip out those final Plague Bearers.
Donald can teleport those Razordons back to shoot the Plague Bearers.
I think, Darren, everyone wants you to hype up the charge. I think everyone is.
We all want the charge.
I think that's what they want. I think if we're realistic, I think Donald's in a hugely ascendant position.
The Plague Bearers are now below 10 models as well.
Everyone wants that. There he is. He's just eyeballing 2 lads. Yeah. He's like, I don't care about you. So
even more Plague Bearers are coming off. Also, they're now no longer -2 to shoot at because they're below so many.
I mean, I've had a unit of Salamanders, unit of 4, when you could have a unit of 4, but they took out an entire block of Dwarden Warriors just in a round.
They're a unit that can dice you back into a game 100%, can't they?
Absolutely. I've also had 4 of them the Sheffield Slaughter last year, just dice off with Glockin in a go.
In the chat, we want the charge, so do we here.
We all want the charge. Some people, is anyone rooting for the Nurgle army? And we've got to say, Matt's army is phenomenal.
So cool. I'm so sorry, Matt. I'm sure you're a wonderful guy, and you've got a very, very lovely army. But unfortunately, your first game that I'm viewing has got Gotrek in it, and I've got to support him.
This is the charge. This is the charge that people want.
How many of those Plague Bearers are left? Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yeah, I think the Salamanders should be able to take that out.
Pretty certain Donald's going to go for it as well to take them out. But there is still...
Donald likes to showboat, doesn't he?
He does like to showboat.
He does like to showboat.
If you watch the coverage last week from the LGT, you will see that he is in no way... John McGrath in the chat there. The Nurgle army is going to look great in the dead pile. So Cogs has been slowed down for some extra summoning. Donald, by the way, a top-tier tournament player, and has been playing for many years. So even though he's in I would say, and argue, a very ascendant position here.
Yeah,
on the
very,
tabletop,
very strong.
He's still making sure he makes the correct decisions. He's slowing the Plague Bearers down, so they're not going to get +2 to move or charge next turn by having the Cogs be slower.
The blights.
Oh, he's changed his mind.
Changed his mind, like the true grot terrorist that he is. Rob's gone off on a tangent there about what a wonderful play
Well,
it is.
I'm not 100% sure. Well, I mean, it still isn't untrue. I mean, having the Rippers get the +2 move and then charge, get some here.
The engines aren't bad in combat as well.
Making the Salamanders go forward and just pushing everything forward isn't the worst idea in the world, I guess.
Both options are great because he's in such a good position. He's bringing down Saurus Warriors for his summoning points, but that's because, Rob, why is that?
Well, because now not a lot of people know this, but a big pocket pick for Seraphon is Saurus Warriors. Yeah, it's just it's
Any
arguable.
Seraphon players in the chat, is that true?
See, now what's really interesting is when you're going to see him summon some Croxagore later. You will be amazed. Most people wouldn't put Croxagore down, and there aren't really many options for them on the tabletop, which is why I think Donald's going to do it. It's a counter pick to Thought and Sense.
So real talk, Donald's very limited with his summoning pool this weekend because he's borrowed Rob's army. And Rob's got Saurus Warriors, and he wanted me to explicitly tell that to people.
It's rude. It's really rude. But I've done a fantastic job on those Ripperdactyls. They look great. Just want everyone to know that.
There's another chap that has made good use of Croxagore. He made them against me, the Greek.
Yeah,
Is it Giannis?
Yeah, Giannis.
Giannis.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, I believe you're in the chat, Seraphade. Shout out to you, you beautiful man.
Yeah.
Making Croxagore work. Not many people can do that. You've managed to do it.
I mean...
Croxagore and Terry are awesome summons. Croxagore and Terry are awesome
Pterodons.
summons. Oh, right, I thought you meant he's going to summon Terry. Terry, the tournament organiser, is just going to turn up and chin Gotreks.
So there's some Saurus Warriors going on the board. Smart play by Donald there. I absolutely approve. That's what I had to do.
They're going to be
'cause that's
dead
also
very
I have
soon.
to summon. Isn't this like... just summoning and the most garbage unit to basically teabag. That's correct, Red Mongrel. I suppose this is exactly. Oh, okay.
Oh!
So I guess this is exactly like I talked about with summoning. So Nikos, show host for the Honest Wargamer, he often plays his Seraphon, and when he gets to the stage where he knows he's winning, he teabags his opponent by summoning a Troglodon.
Oh, a true 40k player.
Yeah, it's the Seraphon equivalent of teabagging, which is arguable. Also doing it with Saurus Knights, Saurus Warriors is just as good.
The image of Donald teabagging, I mean, look at his bald head. It gives you some sort of...
Because not only is he winning, he's also winning with Saurus Warriors.
Wow.
So who can say that?
He's going to tell that to everyone, isn't he?
Yeah, the Troglodon
He's
troll.
changed his mind. He's realised that those Blight Kings are just going to absolutely mince those Saurus Warriors.
Well, he's moving first. And then he's going to put... I think his summoning goes down at the
Oh,
end.
I see. Yeah, of course, yeah. Apologies. So he was just measuring out,
Hello, everyone's
showing
still
his
excited
intent.
about this. Hype Beast for this. If there are any Hype Beasts in the chat, do you know what a Hype Beast is?
No, go on, explain. I'm a very old man.
Don't worry about it. It's not an issue. It's
No, I need to
Ben
know.
will know.
My son watches
Benjamin's
a lot of
been a Hype
YouTube.
Beast for many years.
Memulus
big on that.
goes on about it, as does Will N.E., as does all these other YouTube stars that my son watches endlessly. So if you could educate me what Hype Beast does actually mean, you might be improving my life.
Don't worry.
He makes me watch YouTube endlessly. My 13-year-old son. Oh, iDubbbz, I love him. He's very good as
Oh
well.
my God! Stop this. Paul Bassing Games Donald is a grot traitor. I would like you all to tweet him, please, at Donald Taylor on Twitter, and just make sure you all.
Pete Pratt
just call him.
skinks are indeed the best.
Guernsey is actually building the Troglodon for his summoning army.
Hero.
So that.
Seraphage, hey, hello, lovely.
And Blazebeard says this makes me want to go ahead with that Gotrek Ideth list for CanCon. The Troglodon meta is not real, and Donald is a race traitor. That is correct. He's a grot traitor. So there he is forming a Mighty Ducks Flying V, always very important. A powerful shape there.
Just in case anyone's worried, I am keeping myself hydrated.
Good. Always stay hydrated. I hope everyone at home
loads
is
of
enjoying
water.
the first game. This is obviously meant to be a laugh. There are some big contenders here at the FHGT. There are also some, svelter contenders, but a bunch of people hoping to win the tournament. There's some big prizes, some giant swords available to...
I can see Laurie smiling, so I assume he's won his game. He's very happy in the middle there.
Oh, good. All right, easy. But it's going to be. I can't wait to see who's going to make it through to tomorrow. So don't forget, we've got 2 more games today. Obviously, got 2 games tomorrow, and potentially someone's going to win the tournament live on air, which is always really fun.
Yeah.
Tense. Starts to get tense, but right now we're not about the tense. We're about the fun.
How many people are here? Will Game 5 be for the winner?
Yes, because of the granularity of the scoring system, it being 20-0.
Yeah.
It does depend. You can have, because you might have missed at the start. I told you guys, so there's 14 points for winning the scenario, which they're currently playing, which is shifting objectives.
Yeah.
There are 4 available via secondary objectives, and there are 2 available by kill points. So 1 if you kill more than 1,000 points, and 1 if you lose less than 1,000 points, which is that 1 point is going to be harder to get than the other. To be honest,
you'd think that the Nurgle army would be very good at retaining the 1,000 points here, wouldn't you? But then Gotrek's happened.
He has happened. So we've seen the Salamanders move forward, though. We're not out of the movement phase yet. Matt being really nice and moving his movement trays. You're seeing those Rippers decide, Darren. We thought that they were going to go over to this right-hand objective, but I think we've decided he's decided.
No, Donal, he doesn't need any help. What are you doing?
Those Ripperdactyls don't. Gotrek doesn't need.
He needs no help. Boo!
Don't forget. Thank you, Paul Bastian Games. Can't wait to see you in next weekend. Noise War Games. We're going to have a week off. We're going to have a week off of streaming, which is going to be nice.
Good.
Yeah. I'm going to paint some models. And then the week after, we're back at the Irish GT. And then we've got Bloodshed in the Shires. Then we've got the Justice Series GT. Then we've got the Crimbobo doubles event.
Very exciting.
There is so much Warhammer to come up.
But you deserve a week off. Can everyone in the chat tell Rob that he deserves a week off because he works so bloody hard?
We'll be fine.
And he definitely deserves it, doesn't he?
Who doesn't need a week off is Gotrek.
No!
He wouldn't accept a week off.
He had thousands of years off.
Yeah. Do you think he's mad about that?
He's livid. Bruce, I don't know how Alex Bruce is getting on, but I shall ask Owen for you as soon as he walks by.
Owen will be coming back with a tournament report soon. So his job, he's wandering around, grabbing information, and working out exactly when the hot goss is. So we go. Question, Rob, are you playing the GT next weekend, though? Oh, boy, Phil, no. I've decided to take the weekend off. I do have a ticket, and I did qualify, but I decided that a healthy weekend away would be really good, and I don't find the environment particularly healthy. Like, the people, lovely. I just think Warhammer World's quite hot and cramped.
Yeah.
It's actually quite nice and balmy here at the Element Games Superstore. I've never been here before.
Yeah, I feel quite refreshed, actually. We thought it was going to be really hot in here, but it seems pretty... There's a nice little breeze, isn't there, to be fair?
And
Very
the
comfy.
staff here have been really friendly and kind. So
Keeping me hydrated.
I appreciate that.
Oh, shout out for the Kriegs London. Is that pronounced correctly? I do apologise. Sweden's premier GT is happening on the 23rd and 24th of November. If you manage to get out if you can get out to Sweden, you absolutely should. Unfortunately, I'll be at Crimbobo the doubles, but I've signed up for next year because I'm super keen to get out to Sweden.
Yeah, so the Honest Wargamer will be actually at Crimbobo doing the live coverage.
What, this year?
This year.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So that's exciting. So you guys are going to be able to watch a 100-person Swedish match play event and see what the meta's like over there.
The Swedes are beautiful.
I imagine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're very, very clever. Meticulous, I find, the Swedish. Their play is so fair. Taking Jonathan, for example.
Yeah.
Like, you've played him loads of times.
Smart, articulate, funny, clever.
Yeah, but just super fair.
And also, the Swedish team absolutely whomped at Six Nations.
Yeah,
they did some real good work. I really enjoyed watching.
They're one of the teams to... what I like about the Swedes, they are united, they are motivated, they're dynamic. Yeah, they're one of the teams to watch out for. Absolutely. If England don't keep up, and don't evolve, then I know they're gunning for us as well. I know they'd absolutely love to take us out. So they're one of the teams to watch when you're at an event. Always.
And
Sweden.
obviously, when Games Workshop finally released the Moose Cavalry Army, they're going to be. Here we go. So
Salamanders are shooting into
the movement phase
bearers.
happened. We've seen some screening here. We've seen some double screening here in case there's a double turn. We've seen the Razordons get even closer here.
He's playing meticulous, isn't
so
he?
he's just trying to block off these two scary units. However, in the shooting phase now, the Salamanders, I think it's 3 6s. That's crazy. So the Salamanders are going to be shooting into this unit of Plague Bearers, and they can do some absolutely devastating work. Thank you, Super Kick-Ass, for subscribing via Twitch. Great name. So
Super kick ass.
So these plague bearers are taking some flame and fire from the salamanders just to their
Clear
left.
them off.
There you go.
Clear them
And if
off.
they do kill
Clear
them,
them
that
off.
frees Gotrek. And if Gotrek's free, he can charge in. So we're going to see what damage gets done.
I like how Gotrek hasn't been nudged in any way, so he's still looking.
Only one dead, Darren.
No! That's got to be the skink shooting, right?
Potentially 18. No, that was the salamanders. The salamanders did no.
Is that right, Ben?
So the salamanders only did the one. Potentially they could do 18 plus 3d3 mortal wounds.
And we've hyped them up so much.
But it's why you see a lot of Seraphon players. And again, big shout out to our Greek contingent.
Oh yeah, always shouting out there.
Yeah, and
Beautiful.
Giannis. Why he plays his shooting Razor Dawns and his other shooting, all in that giant reroll bubble of an Astroloth Banner Bearer.
Yes, yeah.
So that generally tends to be something you see, and it could have been something Donal summoned earlier, only he didn't have the model to put on the board.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I'd have gone for the Rippers initially. This turn, I might have been considering bringing in the Astrolith. Although he had 12 points, which is why he's...
El Capitan WS10, glad to see you in the chat. Hail Trog. Also, all hail the
Hail
Blot Toad,
Trog.
who, by the way, is here. The Blot Toad just being pushed slowly. Oh, the Dreadwoods, thanks so much for also joining us. Great coverage. Loving Dazzler on
That's
the commentary.
James, isn't it?
It
James.
is.
Hello, James, you lover.
That's what I like about the interesting about community. There might be hundreds of people watching, but we all know each other by name. Oh, how are you? Yeah, oh, great. How are you? Also, everyone, can you say it to each other in the chat? Let us know where you're from. You might have a friend watching and you don't even realise it because you've all got silly screen names. So, unfortunately, Darren, Gotrek is not going to be free.
You can't have it all, right?
No.
That's what I keep telling my girlfriend.
So yeah, you can't. So he's not going to be free.
Hi, Australia.
So
There's another part of the world I absolutely adore, the Aussie scene.
well, the Honest
Absolute
Wargamer,
heroes.
thank you to the Australians who crowdfunded our travel last year, decided to be as equally generous and crazy, and crowdfund it again this year. So the Honest Wargamer will be going and doing the live coverage again
You
at
lucky,
CranCon
lucky thing.
2020. Last year's largest Warhammer Age of Sigmar match play event, nearly 200 people. We're all saying hashtag make it 300, Clint. That's what we want.
I'm on the toilet in the UK. Yeah.
Well, that's lovely, JJ.
Enjoy yourself.
So the Razor Dons are shooting it into the Lord of
I think
Lights.
they could have jumped and shot those plague bearers. That would have been a better use. I don't think this Harbinger's still going to
I
die.
think that's only the use you would have used them for because you want to free up the Gotrek.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, Gritley.
Icelander in the chat. Hello, Iceland. That's cool. How cool is that?
Yeah,
How's the scene in Iceland? What's that? Helgemar 1980?
So, yeah, there's dudes all around the world.
Kansas City. This is just glorious, isn't it? People in the USA, people from Iceland.
Adam's currently having Saturday
Australia.
night beers and watching some Warhammer, which is fun. And I hope you guys don't forget if you go onto Twitter on the Honest Wargamer and just tweet us a picture of where you're watching and how you're watching the show with a
Rate my
hashtag
setup,
rate
right?
my setup. I'd love.
I want to play in Iceland. There should definitely be an Iceland GT.
I think there should be an Iceland GT. Sorry, Ben, missed that. Benjamin. So the Harbinger is dead
Oh,
from shooting.
completely wrong.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, well done. What,
So-
-1, 4 up, 5 up save?
Yeah, so
Wow.
last time the Razor Dons only did 1 wound to this Harbinger decay, but now, and it's why I absolutely love Razor Dons. They're so cheap, and they're this razor.
Within 6, they get -1 rend,
They
don't
do,
they? So it would have been a 5/5
Yeah.
with 6 wounds. So he should have done. Yeah, that's yeah, you're right. They're
Yeah.
so swingy, aren't they?
Yeah, they are very, very.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
So don't worry about it.
You tell me
It's all-
more about Razor Dons, Rob.
No, I just think they're a great tactical choice on the tabletop.
Yeah.
But especially with the teleport, right? Because it's an incredibly small profile.
Mm-hmm.
If you still have to be outside of 9, but they can shoot within that, which
12-inch range, so 9 inch. So they're better for teleporting than salamanders. For
which
example.
can't shoot when you teleport
8
them.
inches, isn't it?
Yeah. And they're just used to go and pick off those support heroes really well. Clear off, they could have also come over here and done this job and cleared here and then won the objective, but he didn't need the help. So there's just a really great unit.
It's one of the things to consider when you're list building. So looking at this, the first thing I'm looking at the Nurgle army, I'm thinking there's no Chaos Marauders, which could have been, lined along here.
Oh, okay. So one of the engines of the gods has just tried to charge. So we're past the shooting phase now. So what you see is what you see. We're going to see some charges. The engine of the god spent a command point to try to re-roll over here, but did not make it. So it looks like they're just going to stay there, which is fine.
That Harbinger was so vulnerable because the Blight Kings didn't make use of their massive footprint. And also in the list building stage of developing this army, there's no Chaos Marauders, which could have been surrounding that Harbinger, just making the teleports much more difficult. Donal's been given free range in this backfield, which is why that was able to happen. And now those Blight Kings, you'll see they're much more vulnerable without that 5-up save.
And if you actually look at a lot of the match play packs, which are a lot of the match play missions, there's actually loads and loads of missions where there's loads of space.
Oh, I'm loving this. Sorry, he's just moving everything in. He's just going for it. Get up the field, get in people's way.
Yeah, so I mean, really interestingly, Donal, as a traditional Grots player, is like super aggro. They're a very aggro army. They play very aggressively, which is interesting as a play style, because actually if you play a lot of Seraphon, or if you see a lot of Seraphon players play, they play very defensively. Yeah. They're super precious about their slam. They have a lot of skink screens to stop against the double turn. He's going to
really enjoy these skinks. These skinks are about to slingshot away because they've got a retreat rule, and they're just going to go straight in front of those Blight Kings. So these guys here are now going to be able to slingshot.
So when they activate, skinks are able to move away?
Yeah, be 3 inches away from these chaps, and obviously try and protect this objective. Because that guy's there, so I'd imagine he's going to be able to get all the way over here, within 3 inches here. So that's going to be taking out this. So this is the only unit, feasibly, he's got to take out this area here. And he's got to get through this screen and all of these. Sorry for all my little lines and lines and lines everywhere. Hopefully you understood that. But yeah, very, very clever play.
Yeah, really smart. And again, that's not no disrespect to Seraphon players, but I think they've always had to play very sensitively because they've never had.
They don't have the resource management.
Yeah, because they haven't got a punch unit. They pick you apart over turns.
Yeah.
They win turns 4-5. Whereas with Gotrek as an ally,
it's really interesting, isn't it?
Really good. It's why the first time it came out and we started talking about it, I was like, actually, that's probably an army that's, because it's been a problem I've had for a long time when I write my Seraphon lists. And as a Seraphon player for a long time, I've always been like, I need a punch unit, and it just has never had one. There's nothing in the War Scroll that does it. And while these Ripidactyls are fantastic, they actually aren't the punch unit that you think that they are. They can do some good work.
Not high armor. No,
they're not high armor. No, and they can't do the job. Sometimes they can do the job in a turn.
They're limited to where the blot toad is as well. To be fair.
And they also die.
And they also die very quickly.
Yeah.
But another thing that Seraphon have got is access to a bonus to cast, which is you really want to, with Gotrek, you really want the cogs to be going off right. And if the stars align correctly, the Slan's got a celestial ability, which will, I think it's a 3 or 4, will give you +1 to cast. So that cogs goes from a 7 to a 6.
Which you can manipulate the stars at one point to change it
With
around.
an Astrolith, you can get +1 to cast on that as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, once it's done its job and got Gotreks into the centre of the field, which is where, if you're running Gotreks, you always want to be, right? Then you can then change it later to get additional summoning. So there's a nice bit of synergy there with Cogs, Gotreks in Seraphon. Also, they've got all that summoning. They do have a bit of summoning as well. So he's always going to have resources to play with. I think it's a really clever.
But also, he's got screening. Like, I think that's important. Like as much as he's tanky as all heck, I think the screening is going to be really solid. There he is. A lot of people asking where the star of the show is. Here he is in his first outing. Darren, do you genuinely think a Gotrek army can go 5-0?
Yeah. I think Gotreks can go 5-0 on his own. No, I think looking at this is, yeah, definitely. We've played right. I mean, a lot of people are saying, oh, I'd prefer to take 30 Half-Guard Berserkers, or I'd prefer to take 9 Eels.
Is that how people who play...
That's how they speak, yeah. I think Gotreks is the way forward. He is livid right now, though. The Rippers have made it into Glotty. He's shaking his fist at them. That was mine. Leave him alone. You
I want to kill him. Leave him be.
You pretend demon buggers.
There you go. So, there he is. Literally fist shaking. There he is.
He shook his fist so hard that Ripper has fallen off of his base.
Oh, no. Atrocious. There he is, just like...
Proper nosedived.
But I got to say, Matt's army is absolutely It's really pretty.
I think those plague bearers are looking at each other like, "What happened, Boris? I've got no idea, Jeff."
Yeah, this has gone. This has gone so wrong.
This has gone
for
so
us.
wrong.
So wrong. Donal definitely dominating this half of the board now, even though there are two huge Nurgle heroes
This army
here and here.
Yeah. Really,
And then he is chaffed up very successfully. And of course, he's set himself up for the devastating charge from those Saurus warriors into the Blight Kings later on, where we will see them do 1, maybe even 2 damage.
I think that he's not going to be able to get past this 3-inch gap here. So he's not even going to be able to move up here and threaten this objective. The best he can do is get here within 3, hope for a long charge, and get 1 or 2 of his Blight Kings to try and take these guys out. Even then, though, all of these guys, actually, the rest of them are going to be able to take these out. He could, with a bit of luck, take out this objective, I think. But he's not going to get that centre one, and the one on the left has gone as well. It's very, very hard work for Matt from here on in.
Not easy, right?
Not easy.
Not easy.
But
Not
you know,
easy.
we've seen more amazing things, haven't we?
We
to
have.
Be fair.
We have. I mean, because these Rippers may do little to nothing. The Glockkin might spank them back. Then he's got spells.
The Glockkin will take them all out. We'll see how vulnerable they
So
are.
Glockkin's only taken 5 wounds, by the way.
Yeah. That's, I'm not
So
surprised.
he's still alive.
The Blot Toad's not close enough to really
And
threaten the Glotty.
these are like they've lost so far. The Nurgle army has only lost 300 points.
Yeah.
It's got 1,700 points of utility
Don't
still on the
panic.
board. Oh no, that's not true. Lost the Harbinger. So it's got about 1,500 points of utility still on the board. Damage still to be done. Now, I do think that I think Donal and Seraphon are in the ascendancy, but I still don't think it's necessarily.
No, this unit here can potentially take out all of these in one go. This unit here, that's a unit of skinks, right?
Yeah.
Because they've got such a large footprint. When they charge, they should be able to threaten this unit, maybe even this unit, and force them to move away from this objective. So these 20 here should be able to. I think they should be able to secure this. Certainly on a double turn, if he moves them and charges them correctly. But then getting into the rest of it, there's all those summoning threats from the engine. That Slan's still loving life in the corner there, having a cup of tea. He's going to be pumping out skinks. So I think at this point it's going to be super, super hard for the Nurgle. But never give up. Never give up.
No, not at all. And I think that's actually a clever point that you made. If you put maybe 4 or 5 of them into here, and then you put maybe the rest in here, and then just tag that back unit, then that back unit's got a choice. I'd probably just make sure I deleted 2. I think actually if we get the what is the words I'm trying to say, Darren? If Matt in his turn it just starts wiping whole units out,
Yeah.
like so that's.
Oh! So news from the table.
He's taken them all. Oh, saved them all.
So news from the table. The Plague Bearers have still got Blades of Putrefaction on there, and Matt has rolled 3 6s to hit. But this time, Gotrek saved them all. That's how you do it, God. It's the lion thing on his shoulder, isn't it? That perhaps he's been pointing them at that. He's learned from his mistake.
Yeah.
And he's been actually using that.
He's in no way letting people mess with him in any way, shape, or form. Those Plague Bearers are dead to Gotrek.
But it means those skinks can no longer slingshot. I think that's a mistake from Donal. I think.
No, because they can still activate because they charged.
Yeah, but they can't. You need to be able to do the 8. They can go 3 inches now, but they can't. They need a unit to be able to go the 8 inches. I believe chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but you can only slingshot if you're still within melee. You can only use your retreat rule. Okay. You can certainly pile in, so you're still going to be able to get 3 inches across here.
But I think that's all the combats he's actually engaged with. So yeah, as you said,
those Plague Bearers weren't a threat.
As the Glockkin struck back, we'll just find out that.
I'm being informed by Rob that they can still do it, so I shall. It's been a little while since I've played Seraphon. I do apologise, chat.
Yeah.
So they can still do. They'll still be able to fend off these Blight Kings on the right.
So the Glockkin is going to be attacking now into those Ripperdactyls.
Oh no! Someone else is telling me Darren's right. Livid.
We'll
Hello, Carl. You beautiful, beautiful man.
We'll wait, shall we? How many summoning points do Nurgle have? We'll find that out from our table boss, Benjamin. Thank you. And then seeing Donald's notebook, how much do people rate making notes during the game to manage and maintain lists, making posts the game? I think it's really, really important. And it's why I also think this top-down view is also fantastic for note-taking, right?
Oh yeah, this is the way to watch it. Absolutely. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, having a good time?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying your setup.
Good. Good. The opulent luxury.
Sorry, Ben. That went in one ear and out the other.
How many summoning points do Nurgle have is a question we've had from the chat. But we can... Yeah.
I think you might have done, Lavo. Have you gone out and purchased yourself one?
If you've just joined us, we're moving in. I wonder where our infield reporter is. I'm sure he's coming back at some point with the next piece of news. But I can't wait to find out what's happening in the rest of the tournament. There are more Gotreks here.
So I've got one to my right who's currently playing against Feck.
So
that's it, and that is with Fire Slayers, and I believe there's another one. Owen's mentioned that. Well, it's full of Slaanesh and dwarfs, right?
Yeah.
So dwarfs aren't going to be Dwarden, are they? they're going to be. Well, sorry, they're not going to be dispossessed, are they?
Not again.
We're not in the dispossessed meta that we all deserve at the moment. Yeah, if I broke it.
You might have, Darren. You might have this line on the screen doesn't want to go.
It happened when you cut across.
Oh, okay. It's all right. We'll establish what that is at some point in the future. As you can see, we're still in the combat phase, Ben. Thank you so much. So he's just currently this unit.
There are some Archeons. I can see some Archeons. So hopefully we'll get to see Archeon versus Gotreks at some point.
Yeah, Slayer of Kings him. Can't do that, can you? Because it's not a king, so you can't slay him. That's how it works. So just seeing this unit, we're still currently in the combat phase. We're just seeing this unit move here out of combat and retreat. And then we're going to be into Matt's turn. Darren, what do you think Matt can do now?
He's doing exactly what I said, right? Donal's moving his Bite Kings for him.
So he was within 3, clearly. So I think he's
see.
helping him pile in, realistically.
Okay, so Donal's trying to...
Okay, so currently the piling phase is what's happening.
Yeah.
And Donald's just helping Matt explain
that's a
that you have
mistake
to